Every single diasporan or Kenyan who has built in Kenya has some kind of a story that is unpleasant related to construction. I've covered a lot of this in some of my previous videos, and today I just want to focus specifically on some of the questions you need to ask or things you need to know at a bare minimum if you're going to build anywhere in Kenya. And I say this because it's possible to at least minimize the quality of character development you're going to get when constructing in Kenya. Like I said, character development is almost impossible to completely avoid, but you can minimize it by just knowing a few things or by just asking some of the very basic questions that would help you get a sense as to whether or not you are getting a good deal. And I'm not asking you to be an expert on everything. No, that's why we pay experts to do what they're doing. All I'm saying is you need to have certain basic knowledge about things involving construction that will help you navigate this market world. So there are certain things that you can ask, or there are certain things that you would know to the degree that when you see something, you can tell that something is really off. And that's what I want to point out to you, some of the things that I hope will be helpful for those of you who are building out in Kenya. But as always, before we do that, we welcome you to the beautiful, beautiful Riat Hills. Right outside you saw that amazing view overlooking the largest freshwater lake in Africa. And Riat is just about 15 minutes away from Karating, all in Western Kenya. You all know already that my home is in Western Kenya. That's where we live, but we spend time in California as well. So we go back and forth. So I'm here with my interior team, and today we are focusing on the tiling works. This house, again, is just overlooking Lake Lolwe. Incredible views. And so we've got a client here who we are helping do a few things, but we're starting with the tiling team. And so for this particular project, actually the client traveled to come back to Kenya just for about a week to consult, select the tiles, and we are doing installation. So again, if you're interested in things like that, we post our number on all of our videos. If you have a construction project in mind, whether you're thinking about building, you're already building, you're doing renovation, you're looking for land and things like that, if we can help you, we will. And if we can't, we hopefully will find somebody who will. So feel free to check us out. If you're living outside the village and you want to build, reach out. Now, my job basically is to review your project, match you with the many experts that I work with, and supervise your project till it's done. So that's basically what we do. But as we say, join us. Let's inspect this ongoing project. They already started. I think this is probably day 4 of the work. And so I'm stopping by to just get a sense of what's going on and to just make sure that everything is running as it should. I've been privileged to work with a ton of experts, and this is actually one of my best stylers. He's really good at what he does. And so either way, I still have to find time and just come take a look and make sure that everything is running as it's supposed to be. So in today's video, I want to talk about 4 things. Number 1, I will talk about some of the general assignments that people give us, the kinds of assignments or contracts that we get in the village. I will also highlight the areas where you're most likely to be nailed by somebody who is less than stellar. And then number 3, I will talk about who is most likely to nail you that you probably want to keep an eye on. And then lastly, as I always do with most of my videos, I'll share some of the lessons I've learned that hopefully will be useful to folks out there. Again, my experiences are very, very limited to my work in the village. We pretty much work anywhere in Kenya. My teams are spread all over Kenya. I have not done anything outside Kenya. And again, when I share examples, I'm only talking about the things I've seen or heard from clients and friends. There's a whole lot more out there that I don't know that I hope you will tell me. So anyway, so here are some examples of the types of contracts that we get from clients. again, we get a range of agreements. Many of them are barely documented, meaning we talk over the phone, we discuss, we put it on WhatsApp, and then we get guys moving. A lot of it happens that way. But then there may be a few things here that are clearly spelled in more detailed contracts. But the majority of what we get is just let's agree over the phone, put it down on WhatsApp, and get people moving. So the first type of contracts that typically folks offer is what I call a full contract, which means the client gets both material and labor combined. So we come in, we buy the materials, and we supply labor. Now, this type of a deal works really well for people who are not interested in dealing with the daily grind of looking for materials, organizing transport, and all the logistics involved in all that. Some people just don't care for that. So they'll say, okay, here's what I want, here's the money, get it done. That's fine. But also it comes with certain drawbacks because in some ways you're probably not able to control prices because it's the contractor that supplies the materials. So personally, I don't do that as a client, but then there are specific things that I give full contracts. And I'm talking about when I was building my home. There are about maybe 7 different areas that I would give full contracts. For example, if whenever we're doing glass shower partitions, I don't want to deal with all the issues involved with measuring, cutting glass, transportation. No. Let's talk, let's look at the figures. Once I get exactly what I want in terms of quality, I give full contract for that. Solar insulation, I let them do everything. I don't mess with trying to buy stuff. That's just my preference. Aluminum windows and doors, same thing. We negotiate as long as they deliver the exact quality that I want, they supply and install. Same thing with special railings, especially stainless steel with glass. I just let them bring both labor and material. I do the same with special order interior doors, because like the doors that we have in our home, the company had to come, take measurements, supply the architraves, the frames, and all the other fittings. So I paid for both labor and material together. Electric fence, same thing. Biodigest as well. So I would say those are some of the areas where I'm more comfortable giving full contract. The rest of the things, I'm happy running around looking for materials. So I hope your experience is similar. And then a good bit of what we do are what we call labor contracts. And that means the client brings the materials and then we supply the labor. Now, this has the advantage in the sense that you can control the costs because you can run around, negotiate, and buy perhaps maybe more affordable materials. The other advantage to it too is that you have more control over quality and taste. For example, if you're buying tiles, like my client did right here, she went and bought exactly the kind of tiles she wanted, something that fits her taste. Tiles are very tricky when you send somebody because there's a chance they're going to find something that may not really match your taste 100%. So that's the advantage. The biggest challenge with this type of contract is that if you choose to do labor contract, meaning you look for the materials and then we supply labor, is that you have to have the time, the networks, and the knowledge to find what you need. Sometimes people think that they're saving in doing this, but they don't have the networks. So they'll go to the next shop they find, they buy something super expensive, or they're given low quality stuff. So even though the client ends up buying materials, they bring really low quality stuff. And I see that a lot with tiling and plumbing. So then we have lots of issues in terms of how the tiles are lining up. So don't just assume that if you're going to get the materials on your own, then certainly you are going to get the best quality. You need to have the time to run around, you need to have networks, and you need to have the knowledge to find the correct thing. So here's some of the areas where you're more likely to be nailed. Land. Lots of things, including diasporans purchasing things that are not worth the amount of money they're putting in. Or sometimes people can't tell the difference between an acre, hectare, and just general size. And so they might actually sell you less land in terms of size, even when you bring your surveyor. So that happens. Or they just sell you land with problems like flooding or neighbors and things like that. And then you'll have issues around material quality. Because again, the average person building out there does not know the difference between gauge 28, gauge 30, gauge 32 in terms of, say, iron sheets. Or when it comes to metal tubes, the average person does not know the difference between gauge 18, 14, and things like that. So you'll still go buy something only to realize that you are paying much more than what you're getting in return. Same thing with tiles. Glass thickness, where you sold something and you don't realize you're actually paying higher for a really cheap product. Same thing with concrete products like blocks, cabros, and all that stuff. Plumbing and electricals, very common. And then, of course, material quantity is another area where they will nail you too, because like with stones, if you can't have a system to measure the feet, for example, for foundation stones, they'll get you there. For wood, I've seen cases where they actually use tape measures that have been doctored. So a foot, one foot in their tape measure is not the standard foot that you would expect. Same thing with plumbing and electrical. So these are common areas where they end up getting folks. So who is more likely to get you? The number one group that is most frequently mentioned is family. Unfortunately, family, it's just dust everywhere. And then trusted contractors also really end up milking folks, especially folks with whom you've worked for a while. Because we tend to have this problem that once you've worked with someone for a while, you lower your guards. And that is when you create a space for you to be milked. So whatever you do, even if you've worked with a contractor for multiple projects, like I do, I work with so many folks, but no matter what, I always keep my guard up because people get too comfortable. Or at some point, somebody might be experiencing a challenge in their life that gets them to make mistakes. So contractor, yes, will milk you at some point. And then friends. Friends do the same thing as family, unfortunately. So here are some of the lessons that I've learned that I hope that can help you if you are a homeowner or if you're trying to build your home right now and you're not trying to be an expert, you're just trying to get your home done. So number one, I always say homework. There's no way around it. Remember, the less you know, the more likely you will be milked. There's just no way around it. Do your homework and don't be too confident, even if you've picked up information from folks. Don't be too confident in your abilities. If you're a woman, sometimes I recommend it's okay to include a male presence, especially a man who knows something. Don't just grab every other Nyango, Dick, and Harry. Get a man who knows something because unfortunately in the Kenyan market, sometimes the presence of a man makes a difference. And so do that if you can. Also do random checks. Once in a while, just do random check. Even if it's family member, once in a while do random checks because it's those random checks that will give you a sense as to whether there's more going on. Again, never ever trust anybody. It doesn't matter. Even if it's me, please don't trust me because when you don't trust me, you keep me on toes and we can all produce something better. Don't do that. And as always, with family, it gets really murky. A few family members are wonderful and helpful, but the overwhelming majority are always problematic. I've never really understood it, but in many cases, it does not end well. So I hope this is useful enough for those of you who are building. And if I missed something, post it in the chat, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.